Robin, you can't leave.
Well, it's not like I'm leaving town.
But you're leaving us.
I know. I'm sorry.
I know. We are too.
I'm excited. My grandbaby will have a backyard to go out and play in, and
Oh, yeah.
it's gonna be nice. I'll just be a quiet observer of the city council.
There you go. You can zoom in and, every once in a while, maybe we'll see you, a picture of you or something. I don't know.
At least we're still friends on Facebook.
That's true.
Gives you the chance to be in more committees too.
What?
Gives you the chance to be in more committees too.
Yes. Rylan, you're right.
Not really.
What part of town are you moving to?
Up past the Humane Society.
Oh.
On Brickyard Road, where all those twin homes were being built.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Very nice.
So Eric is my rep now.
Oh, well. Make him behave, I
can bend his ear all the time.
Yep.
Did you know Julie was leaving the county?
No.
She just told me that tonight. She's done April 15th.
Oh my.
Yeah. That's a huge loss. Huge.
Sure is. She's very good at her job.
She is. She is amazing. And a nice person to boot.
Yep.
So
and fun.
Yeah.
Yep.
And if
that's
Lane gets the job, Nick could be gone too.
Yep.
Crazy.
There'd be some big changes.
Yeah. Yeah. So, well, I never thought I was going to do this.
Well, good for you. As long as you're happy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'll miss city council, but yeah. I'm excited.
Mary, did anybody get hurt in that accident in front of your house?
Not that I know of. No.
Somebody didn't stop, it looked like.
Yeah, the poor last car.
How many cars were in this?
3, total of 3.
Oh, no.
It hit so fast or so hard that it moved the car in front of him into the car in front of them. So, yeah, he had to have been going, not paying attention.
You see that stop sign run quite often, unfortunately.
Either on purpose or not paying attention. Yes, quite often. I'm amazed that that's the first accident I've seen since we've been living here.
Council members are waiting for one more council member to show up. We have none in the, no council members in the council chambers. So just what you see on the screen is the council members we have.
Randy Eddy, this is Eric Sutherland. Do you see me?
I do not. How come we don't see you? There it is. Yep. Yep. Thank you.
Okay, good.
All right. I got the phone numbers on there now, thanks to the city attorney. So we got Jan at 1893. And then Eric, you're at 9463.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Appears you have a quorum, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Well, very good, Mr. Eddie. Hi, welcome everybody, and I think we can all get started. Let's start our meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the
To the
flag
flag of the
of the
United
United
States
States of
of America,
and to the republic for
republic for which it stands,
one
one nation, under God, indivisible,
with
with liberty and justice for all.
Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the City Council meeting, Monday, April 5th, 2021. With that, if we could have roll call, please.
Luther.
Here.
Traxler.
Here.
Sutherland.
Here.
Sweeney.
Here.
Schwebs.
Here.
Merrill.
Here.
Solberg.
Here,
Schlue.
Here.
Erdman.
Here.
Summerfeld.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Eddie, would you like to bring us up to speed on the technical portion?
Yep, thanks, Mr. Mayor. So for those of the public joining us virtually, when the mayor opens up public comments, you are welcome to speak at that time. And if you want to raise your hand virtually, if you're looks like everybody's online through a computer, you should be able to hover by your name or near the bottom on the participants tab. And then you can raise your hand virtually and we'll call on you in the order that the hands were raised. And again, that's during public comments if you wish to speak on an item on the agenda or discussed at the council.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Eddie. Under special recognitions, I would like to take just a moment under the special recognitions portion tonight. We have a City of Menominee Community Welcoming Proclamation. And in that proclamation, it states, whereas we, the people of Menominee, wish to respect the rights and dignity of all people and acknowledge that our residents and visitors have come from many places over time and their contributions are essential to the city's growth, vitality, and prosperity. And that includes all people, irregardless of what their ethnicity is. It includes the Asian population and all races and colors of people. So with that, we have a proclamation in place. If there's any question regarding the proclamation that's currently in place, we can visit that in a future meeting. But I wish to tell everybody out there that this was intended to include all races, irregardless. So with that being said, we'll continue on with the rest of our meeting. Approval of minutes. If anybody'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes, now would be the time to do so. Okay, Rylan, go ahead. You got your hand up. Are you muted?
There we go. Thanks. Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve last meeting's minutes.
Okay, thank you. Is there a second to Rylan's motion? Lee Swebs, go ahead, please.
Yeah, I'll second the motion.
Okay, thank you, Lee. Any discussion? All in favor of said motion signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, thank you. There's no public hearings tonight, but under public comments is the portion of our meeting where anybody can speak on agenda items for the evening for 3 minutes or less. Please give us your name and address. There's nobody present here tonight, so it'd be all online audiences. I will turn this over to Mr. Eddie. Mr. Eddie?
So again, if you wish to speak, if you could raise your hand virtually, hover near your name, and your hand will come up, or near the bottom of the participants panel. And Mr. Mayor, I see you, Warren Lang.
Okay.
I'm not sure if this is Warren or not, but if you could give your name and address, your mic's open. If you're gonna, your mic's open.
Thank you.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. I didn't see any participants panel, so I just raised my hand. Anyhow, Warren Lang, 314 11th Street, Menominee. Speaking to you tonight to urge the council to pass a resolution denouncing hate speech and violence against Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders. I'll abbreviate that to AAPI as I speak. Our nation has seen a 149% rise in hate crimes against AAPI in the past year or so. Our president has spoken out against this hate, and other governmental bodies have passed such resolutions, including the Eau Claire City Council, which I think I sent that to council members. A few days ago, there was a rally in Eau Claire supporting AAPI, attended by several hundred people. Menominee Cares has written a statement signed by community members and organizations. This statement is in your packet. It's heartbreaking to discover that AAPI across the US, including our region, are sometimes afraid to even leave their homes for fear of being harassed or worse. No one should have to live this way. I am proud that our city passed the welcoming proclamation the mayor just affirmed several years ago, taking a stand against discrimination and hate against any group. I'm glad that the mayor tonight read that part of that proclamation and made a statement supporting our AAPI friends and neighbors. But the welcoming proclamation does not mean that nothing else needs to be done to oppose hate and racism. I see the welcoming proclamation as a pledge to the citizens of our city to actively oppose such hate whenever it occurs. We all love our families and likely have told them so on numerous occasions. But if a family member is going through difficult times, we will want to give them extra loving attention and support. At this time, our AAPI friends and neighbors are going through a trying time, and any additional support we can give them would be very welcome. Menominee has a significant AAPI community, and we want to show them that they are not alone, that they are valued friends and neighbors. A resolution denouncing hate and violence against AAPI would clearly show our wholehearted support of Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders in our community. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Warren. Appreciate that. Anybody else would like to speak? Now's your chance in public comments. Mr. Eide?
Yep, I see email labeled Mabel, or computer attendee named Mabel Tainer. We've opened up your microphone, so if your name and address, please.
Hi, my name is Lucas Chase. I'm the Director of Operations at the Mabel Tainer, which is 205 Main Street East here in Menominee. And I just want to let you know that I'm available to answer any questions regarding the Mabel Tainer, including the special request, which we have under new business section E. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Lucas. Anybody else? Mr. Eide, anybody else out there?
Yep, it looks like Marion Lang.
Okay.
Marion, I've opened up your microphone. You could speak. If you could give your name and address, please.
Thank you. Marion Lang, 314 11th Street East. I'm speaking in support for Asian American and Pacific Islanders in Menominee because it is of a particular concern. Because in addition to Japanese, Korean, Chinese, and others with Asian family roots, Menominee is home to Hmong families who fought alongside US forces in Laos, and at the end of the Vietnam War, came to the United States seeking refuge. Refuge in the United States is a promise made to the Hmong by US military. And so I urge you to pass this, initiate and pass the resolution. Mayor, I would like some additional time because I have a statement from a member of the Hmong community who, feeling unsafe, asked me to read it.
Marion, I know we were trying to keep everything within a 3-minute time frame, so maybe you could take the high points of it. Thank you.
Thank you. I was sad and disgusted at the same time to hear of the shooting in Atlanta. It is with great sadness. These things are getting worse and worse, and it is something that will never die, racism, prejudice. I read about what the Atlanta police chief said about the shooter, that he was just having a bad day. No, having a bad day is if you lock your keys in the car or spill coffee on yourself. Having a bad day is not going on a shooting spree. I get very emotional when I talk about the Vietnam War and the journey of how we got here. My dad lost 10 siblings, many uncles and aunts, neighbors and friends along the way. My father said after the US withdrawal of troops in 1975, Hmong people had to leave Laos, so they traveled in groups on foot to get to the Mekong River to find a way to cross to Thailand. Within their group, they had 70 people, and it took them 2 months on foot to get to the Mekong River. When they got to the Mekong River, they only had 10 people left. 60 people died along the way because either they got shot, died of starvation, sickness, or they were killed by grenades. It's a tragedy. It's a nightmare. And some people still have flashes even to this day. You know, back in high school, in the mid-90s, here in Menominee, we had to leave home early from school because leave for home early from school because there was a threat that a group called GK, which stands for Group Killer, was going to come kill Asian students at school. The world is a very scary place, and we need world peace. Thank you.
Thank you, Marion. Mr. Eddie?
Again, if you wish to speak, you would be just raising your hand virtually and we'll call on you. Right now, we're seeing nobody queued up to speak in public comments.
Okay, last call for public comments. If anybody'd like to speak, please raise your hand. Okay, we'll close public comments and move on with the rest of our meeting. No unfinished business this evening. Under new business, the 6A proposed lease agreement with the Menominee Area Senior Center Incorporated for premise at 1412 6th Street East. This has been a long-term standing arrangement with the Senior Center. It's a good arrangement. Lowell, if you want to touch on that a little bit.
Yes, real briefly, Julie took a look at it, Julie Stratton at the Recreation Department in conjunction with the seniors. And then we had the city attorney look at it just to update it. Again, it's a little late in timing. It's an annual lease and that's what this would be as well. But the seniors have been there for a long time and don't think they're going to go anywhere. So just to formalize that arrangement, this lease is being presented. The city at this time does not charge the seniors for that area like they did many years ago. And I guess with that, I can answer questions or the city attorney can as well. Otherwise, we'd look for a motion approving and we'll bring it back in another year.
Thank you, Mr. Prangy. Okay, council, I'll give it to you. Lee Schwebs, go ahead, please.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion approving the 2021 contract between the city and the leisure center.
Very good. Motion's been made. Is there a second to Lee's motion?
I would like to second that, please.
Okay, Jan Traxler with a second. Any discussion? All in favor of said motion signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Thank you. Moving on to 6B. Proposed agreement with Menominee Area Disc Golf Organization Incorporated, outlining use and maintenance commitments for courses on the city park properties. Mr. Idy, I think I'll give you this one.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. So in the council's packet is an agreement from, as the mayor said, Menominee Area Disc Golf Organization, commonly referred to as MADGO, a group of local disc golfers in the city that have stepped up and said they would like to take on the responsibility of managing, maintaining, and keeping an eye on the disc golf courses we have within the city of Menominee. We have quite a few. We have Brickyard, a golf course at Brickyard area. We have one at Wakanda. We have some at Phelan. And we just don't have enough staff to within the city departments to keep an eye on them, like I think some of the users would like us to. So these agreements help us by kind of keeping an eye on these activities. And we've reviewed this with the recreation department and administration, and we are in favor of the agreement, but it's here before the council to see if you have any questions and if you wish for us to go forward.
Thank you, Mr. Ady. Council, I'll bring it back to you. You have any questions? It's a good group, and we can rely on them to keep the disc golf courses up and running, and it takes a lot of the pressure off the Parks and Rec people to do that. So it's a kind of a hands-on thing. They're using it and they're keeping it up too. So Jan Traxler, you got your hand up?
Yes, I just wanted to ask, on number 1, it says term through December 31. Would that be 2021, 2022?
I think we're looking for a 5-year agreement with them at the very least. And
I would agree. This is low. I would think it'd be longer. And then if things go wrong, we have the 60-day termination clause in point number 10. So I think the intent was to give them some surety in that if they do put some investment in, whether it's the baskets or improving the launching areas for lack of tee boxes, there you go, that would be not something that would just get thrown out by the end of next year. So.
you sound like a discer, Lowell.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't swing a golf club the other way. So
Throws frisbee left-handed. Okay, so that's what we have. I think the intent was a 5-year. I just don't think we plugged the date in there, Jan.
Okay, all right, thank you. That's what I was asking.
Good catch, by the way. Okay, does anybody want to support this with a motion? Go ahead, Rylan.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to sign the lease agreement with the Disc Golf Association for the care of the disc golf courses.
And maybe maybe I can insert this as low. Maybe to make this easy, we should go with 2025, and then that kind of be a rolling 5 years.
Yeah, through
Okay.
2025.
Very good. There we go. Everybody's smiling. Even Ben, our attorney, is even happy now. That's okay. That's a good thing. Do we have a second on Ryland's motion? Robin, go ahead, please.
I'd like,
I'll second Ryland's motion.
All right. Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor of said motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
aye,
Opposed? Thank you. Okay, under 6C, the proposed resolution amending the comprehensive outdoor recreation plan. You guys have all probably looked at it. Lowell's got some extra things he's going to plug into this. So, Mr. Prangy?
Yes, so coming up in May, there's an opportunity for the city to apply for some grant funding through the state of Wisconsin to do some of the trail maintenance. So some of our trails like Junction Trail, et cetera, they're getting towards the point where they could use some rehabilitation. And there's a program out there that could help us fund 50% of those improvements. So maybe we have to rebuild a couple sections. Maybe we need to oil and overlay some sections. Maybe we need some shoulder work, signage, et cetera. But to do that, our comprehensive plan needs to be updated or need to be looked at in especially the pedestrian bicycle areas. So we had Patrick at Cedar Corporation do a quick scan through those areas. We went to Plan Commission, that body endorsed it. And now we're coming before council seeking your approval of the resolution that would authorize this update that will allow us to then move forward with the submittal to the DNR. It's probably, give or take, we're looking at $100,000 grant project. So $100,000 we probably will be borrowing when we do that shortly, but this would be the match from the DNR to do some of those improvements. And then long-term, the Recreation Department through the Recreation Advisory Board is going to be looking at the entire plan. So that'll probably come back in another year after it's been vetted by that body, Plan Commission, Bike Pedestrian Committee, and that'll be brought back to the council for your review and possible approval. But for the immediate, right now, we just need this update if you would like to try and get some state dollars for that grant program.
Thank you, Mr. Prangy. Okay, anybody like to support this with a motion? Go ahead, Lee.
Yeah, I'll make the motion approving the plan.
Okay, thank you. Nate, go ahead, please.
Yep, I would like to second Lee's motion.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor of said motion signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Very good, thank you. Brings us down to 6D, proposed 2021 special events, including the Dunn County Fair, Ludington Guard Band concerts, July 4th celebration, bingo in the park, Lollapalooza, Mabletainer Theater, and Empty Bowls. You know, I give these folks credit for taking the opportunity to get back to life as we know it. I know there's some guidelines in place, and still we're going to try to follow those guidelines. I know we also are looking at opening up our pool and other things around the city. So I support opening up these events, and I hope the council does also. Would anybody like to make a motion to support these? Robin, go ahead, please.
I make a motion that we support all of these events for the summer or the year, I should say.
Okay, thank you. Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second that. Robin's motion.
Very good. Thank you, Chad. Any discussion? Mary, you got your hand up?
Yep. Lowell, I see on some of the applications that it has the no checked at the insurance box. You know, I always worry about that. So I guess I just trust that you guys are going to be watching that to make sure everybody's insured if they need to be.
We will do that, yes.
Thank you.
Good one though, Mary. Thank you. Okay, any other discussion? Okay, all in favor of said motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Okay, that brings us down to 6E, the review of the Community Services Department stainless steel sander quotes. I don't know, self-explanatory, but I'll give it off to Mr. Idy.
Yep, should be real quick. This was in our capital improvement plan, approved CIP by the council. We're replacing 2 sanders with stainless steel sanders that get kind of wore out. Bruce had 3 bids received. He's recommending award to the low bid of $10,454 at Indian Head Truck of Menominee. And I think Bruce's memo is pretty self-explanatory.
Thank you, Mr. Idy. I'll give it back to the council. Council, if you support this, we need a motion.
Lee's got his hand up.
Oh, thank you, Lee. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, I'll make a motion approving the purchase of the stainless steel sanders from the Indian Head Truck of Menominee.
Okay, thank you. Is there a second to Lee's motion? Go ahead, Jeff Luther.
I'll second Lee's motion.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Merrill,
Yes.
Solberg,
Yes.
Sluse,
Yes.
Erdman,
Yes.
Sommerfeld,
Yes.
Luther,
Yeah.
Traxler,
yes,
Sutherland,
Yes.
Sweeney, Yes.
Schwebs,
Yes.
Okay, thank you. That brings us down to 6F, proposed Galloway Creek Restoration Project on city property east of 5th Street West, isn't it? West, okay. Says east on my sheet here. Okay. Discussion and possible motion of action. I think Mr. Idy, you can probably bring us up on speed on this.
And Mrs. Traxler actually caught that. So it is west, 5th Street West, over by the high school. And I will try to share my screen just so you can.
Oh, Randy's doing that. Jan, I get confused all the time between east and then on the other east of west. So I mess it up all the time.
And we're glad we have Jan out there because she's watching that for us. But this is a proposal by the Lower Chippewa Invasive Partnership. We put the information in your packet, but I was looking through the packet earlier. I think we got them in. This is following the cork tree information. So we got the information in the packet a little bit out of order, at least in mine it was. But the Lower Chippewa Invasive Partnership, LCIP Incorporated, proposed cleaning up 2.21 acres in the city of Menominee off 5th Street West, right across from the high school. And I'm going to turn on the map here and then zero in. The area they're looking at, this is 5th Street West, running up and down. Menominee High School over here. It's in this general area. Actually, it goes back a little bit. It's kind of a triangle of 2.21 acres. And what LCIP is proposing is going in there and cleaning up the parcel, removing the invasive species, doing some replanting, actually helping with a little access. They have a grant, or they have funding support from the Gale Family Foundation, a total of $60,000 supporting this. And they're asking the city for an endorsement of the project, and they did include their budget. They're also seeking some funding, possibly of just over $8,000, $8,612 to be exact.
Isn't that over a time?
Over 3 years, I believe, according to their budget. We did, Mr. Mayor, about that over time. We did bring this to the Urban Forestry Board. The Urban Forestry Board endorsed the project, supported the proposal, and now we're bringing it to the City Council for your feedback, review, comment, to see where you'd like to stand, possibly a support of the project. You could also, give some direction for some future funding. We didn't budget anything this year. That was one option Lowell talked about. But we have Mr. Chris Getzky's on the line in the public. If you want to hear some more details on what he's proposing to do, I know Chris would be welcome to that if you wish to hear more details than I explained.
I think that'd be a good idea. Would anybody like to make a motion to waive the rules? Go ahead, Ryland.
Yeah, motion to waive the rules.
Okay, is there a second to that motion? Nate, you got your hand up?
Yeah, I would second Ryland's motion to waive the rules.
Okay, thank you. All in favor of said motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Eddy?
Chris, we've brought you into the discussion. If you want to unmute, they can hear you. The council can hear you.
Yes, can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Thank you for taking time tonight to look over our proposed project here. We've been thinking about doing a project like this for a while, and we found a property that would work well for this. The general idea is to take a city-owned property and restore it to a more natural state, native state without invasives. Gather a lot of partners together and do some work days out there, get people involved. And then the long-term idea is to get private property owners the opportunity to see what they could do if they had land that was on any stream within the city, and what the options were, how to manage a property, see what costs are needed for certain types of control, look at different options that they have, and having another area that could be used almost as a park-like setting. We did a few overviews and some site visits out there, found what we had, did an inventory, and then we found some different invasives that all are obtainable to be controlled in that area. I'm not going to say they can be all eradicated, but at least be a good demonstration area for people to enjoy. And the idea was to get the area cleaned out and then install some kind of a hiking trail through that area to allow access and people for more of a natural type park to add to Menominee. And then that would continue on. This being a 3-year project to clean that area out, and then hopefully potentially moving forward and going into different parcels if possible. So we would help work on coordination of getting a hold of the adjacent landowners and other landowners along the stream from top to bottom, and making that contact to them to see, just to show them and keep them in the loop. So if they'd want to learn more, come to a field day or something like that, that we would set up, they would be available. So the parcel is definitely obtainable to be cleaned. And we didn't see any large areas of erosion. And Randy, on the second visit out there, mentioned that you guys may have an opportunity to work with some of the rental property owners as well on their side of the stream. And this definitely could be a community project that could be replicated in other parts. So that's kind of the overview. And if there's any other questions, I'm here to answer those. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Chris. Any questions for Chris? Lee, you got your hand up. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, first of all, I think this sounds like a great idea, but I'm curious, why does the Gale Family Foundation based in Minneapolis want to help out Menominee?
The Gale Family Foundation is is connected to Menominee through Mary, her main Gail. She's a former board member of ours, and she thought this was a great project that her family foundation would be able to fund. So she had committed 20,000 per year for 3 years for this, to go to any potential need or expense to make this project happen.
Wow, that's pretty excellent. And I'd like to shake her hand sometime, Chris. So, Mr. Eddy?
Yep.
If I could just piggyback a little bit on what Chris said, that the whole Galloway Creek area or the watershed, all of the property along there, the property line goes right to the water. So it has been a difficult, challenging area to kind of clean up. I know we've had stout students walk through there and kind of clean up where they can if they get permission. So what LCIP will create is, in my mind, is a showroom or kind of a store front for property owners to kind of bring them on board and see if they're willing to do that. Maybe they support it with some funding, or maybe there's a marriage made between LCIP and that private property. The rental unit across the creek is the Heights. If there's support here from the council, I was going to reach out to the Heights to see if they want to be on board. They have a lot of land along the creek just right across from us on that same watershed in that same area. So that'll add to the acreage. So something we've been looking at, and one possible direction is, maybe for this first year, we try to give in-kind support, helping with the chipper and so forth, and then try to see how much we help with the budgeting. I mean, if we can do $1,000 of in-kind support or avoid LCIP bringing a contractor in a chip, and we do some of the chipping as we're available, then we can see how much, if we have to budget in the future years to support it, that's another way to do this. So.
Well, thank you, Mr. Eddy. I think that's wonderful, Chris. I want to thank you for your hard work, and by all means, I want to be a positive player in that. I think that's important. We'll need a motion to support this proposal. If somebody'd like to make a motion, Mr. Eddy.
Can bring it back too. I know this is a lot we're throwing. Chris has a timeline too. I don't want to, we could bring it back for further discussion if you wish also.
I think this is a positive, and I think we should just vote it up and keep moving. So I'll put it back out there to the council. Council, if anybody'd like to make a motion supporting this, and now would be the time to do so. Go ahead, Lee.
I guess this is my night. I'll make a motion supporting the proposal for Galloway Creek.
And Jeff Luther.
I'll second Lee's motion for the proposal.
Okay, thank you. Motion been made and seconded. Any discussion on this? Oh, go ahead. Chad, go ahead, please.
What exactly are we supporting though? Are we supporting this financially?
Well, right now we're supporting it as an in-kind. We could at future points support it financially, but it is city properties. So we would need to support this organization to go down there and work their magic. Mr. Eddy?
Yeah, I mean, you could revise the motions if you want, but to support it as a proposal and with in-kind help as available for this fiscal year. And then for this, the administration will look for future budgeting for future years, which would come to the council as a budget. I think that's what we were kind of setting up. I think that's easier for us to do. So Chad, that's a good question. I mean, supporting the proposal and concept is one, and then adding in-kind support as available for this fiscal year, and look for budgeting dollars in the next 2 fiscal years.
And this is Lowell too, Chad. I think so. If something happens in later this year, September, whatever it may be, October, and hey, we need a couple $1,000s to do something this year, we'd come back to the council and ask for that support at that time.
Go ahead, Rylan.
Yeah, I'm not sure if there is an answer for this, but for the grant money that they've received and any money that the city might contribute to in the future, what would that be spent on? Just kind of curious.
I'd probably ask Chris that same question. Chris, you still out there?
Yes, I am. Yeah, the funding would be spent on control measures, bringing any kind of a contractor or any kind of equipment to do heavy control work that would be used for, we wanted, the proposal mentioned that we're gonna be installing some benches and a trail, so the trail would be an expense out there. Some of the funding's gonna go into mapping that area to get a nice map so people can see what's happened and kind of use it as educational area. Some of the funding would go towards reaching out to the community and the landowners out there. So doing publications and mailings to them and door-to-door talking. And then some for herbicides, for signage. We put in there building a kiosk for people to see, boot brushes, any kind of habitat structure out there, birdhouses, bat houses, that type of stuff. So, and then some of the coordination funding to get that done. So.
Okay, thank you, Chris. That was a good explanation. Appreciate that. Any other questions? Any other discussion? Motion's been made and seconded.
Mr. Mayor, I did want to just jump in. Lee, with your motion, did that include in-kind support or was that your intent? Just so we
Yes,
can be.
That's my
Okay.
intent.
And I apologize
Jeff.
to miss who seconded the
Jeff
motion.
Luther.
Jeff, is that also?
Yes, that's okay.
Thank you.
Okay, just for clarification, the motion that Lee made was including the in-kind support from the city, and Jeff seconded it. Any other discussion items? I would like, okay, at this point then, all in favor of said motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate your help. And that moves us down to 6G. Proposed 296E ordinance amendment regarding the removal of female Amur cork trees. Discussion and possible motion and direction. Mr. Ide, you are a professional at this. I'll turn the microphone over to you.
Not sure about that, but this one has been going on for some time for the council members. Actually, back in 2019, late 2019, the Urban Forestry Board endorsed an ordinance change which would list the Amur cork tree as a public nuisance. It would fit in the category of the oak trees that are dying of oak wilt, the elm trees, and the ash trees that are all dying. We have those identified as public nuisances in our ordinance. The city goes and marks them, and we notify the property owner and require them to remove them. And if they don't remove them, then we remove them. Either way, the property owner pays for that. The Amur cork tree is an invasive species that Chris, and this is kind of timely, we got these two agenda items right next to each other. The LCIP has been working very hard throughout the city to eradicate or remove. They've had a series of grants from the DNR. Some property owners have signed up and said we are supportive of that. And I think it was a 60-40 grant. Chris has it as information, but anyway, the property owner put some skin in the game, so to speak. And then the LCIP came in and did the rest, and we had hired contractors to remove the cork trees. However, that's not the case at all with all property owners. So that's why this proposal is to list the female cork tree as a public nuisance. And it's female because the female has the seeds, and the seeds are eaten by the birds, and then the birds spread those seeds around. And so those are the ones that are that propagate this invasive tree growing. We gave you a bunch of information on cork trees. Chris is the expert if you want to hear from him, but they grow very fast, they grow very straight, and they actually just take over an area or a yard. And pretty soon you had a couple oaks and maples and other trees, and next thing you know, you've just got all cork trees. We put this in for your information because it is kind of a invasive type ordinance too. I mean, this is a healthy tree. We would be tagging on private property and saying you have to remove that healthy looking tree. So we're giving it to you for information to the city council to see if you have any questions, and seeing if you want us to go forward and bring this ordinance formally back to the city council. We paused for about 8 to 9 months because of the pandemic, because we knew this would affect people in their yards and their front yards, backyards. And we just wanted to make sure we had enough time to vet it. And that's why we're only going for information now and possibly bring that ordinance back once we get out of maybe we could bring it back after we get out of this where we're closed to the public, but that's up to the council. So I talked quite a bit, but
Good. Thank you, Mr. ID. Yeah, we thought we'd float this one out to you guys to see which direction you wanted to go and take it from there. So if you'd like for us to move this forward, then we'd come back with at another city council meeting, an actual ordinance adjustment.
And if I just 30 seconds more, Chris is here. I mean, if you want to hear from him a little bit, I'm sure he would give you a 2-minute version on the cork trees if you wish to the council members. But if not, all the information we got in there came from Chris about a year ago.
Thank you, Mr. Eddy. Anybody want Chris to comment on this or?
Nah.
No, Mary says no. We're good. Okay. Should we bring this forward at a future meeting to ratify a new ordinance? What's your thought on this, council? I'm seeing heads nodding because Mary, go ahead, please.
I think this is something that needs to happen. We've been hearing a lot about the cork trees and we need to take care of them. So I think this needs to move forward and I would encourage that you bring it back as what you do.
Do we need that as an emotion? No? Okay. Okay. Recommendation is to bring it back. Has anybody else got the same idea or opposed to that? Chad, go ahead, please.
Well, I have a question. Is it one person with a bunch of trees and does that one person not think that the cork trees need to be eradicated, or is it just strictly a financial burden because he has so many trees, or what? I don't. We could get a little bit more specific without putting a name on it.
No, it's wider spread than that. I think I just asked Chris that same question. Chris, if you want to take the mic, open up the mic to you.
Your mic is
Yeah,
open,
to your
Chris.
question, Chad, there's multiple landowners throughout the southern part of Menominee that still have these cork trees on them. And this would line right up with the NR 40 state invasive species rule that regulates female Amur cork trees, the ones that have the berries and the fruit that reproduce. And this would be a great help to continue to slow the population down before they get out further away from where they have been. We found them out to about 1.5 miles from where we believe where they started down on 5th Street. So.
Thank you, Chris. Anybody else have a question? As long as we have Chris's mic open. Chris, one question. Don't the male trees sometimes turn female or vice versa?
There has been studies shown that if you remove all the females, some of the males will revert and become female. But I think that's more of a rare thing. But I think we got a ways to go before we could even see that, because there's quite a few out there yet.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you. So I'm seeing, unless anybody's got a different opinion on this, that perhaps the opinion of the council would be to bring this back at another time. I guess at this point, I think that's all I need. Lowell? No? Okay, Lowell's thinking that, yes, we will, unless somebody's got a negative opinion on this, we will bring this back for you at a future city council meeting. So I think we could just keep on moving. Budget transfers. We did have a budget transfer tonight. Lowell?
In the treasurer's office, we've been using a manpower person for the last, going on probably a year as well. So we've been budgeting it under the normal wages area, and typically that would go under a contractual account for manpower services. So we're asking to split out some of those dollars so you don't see it on the claims list every 2 weeks that we're paying somebody that's not on budget. So Heidi, you put in the budget transfer that I thought would be a good idea. And so if you approve that, that will take care of that situation for the time being.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Prangy. Council, I'll bring it back to you. If you'd like to make a motion to approve the budget transfer, now is your opportunity to do so. Mary, you got your hand up.
Yes, I would make a motion to approve the budget transfer of $12,000 as requested.
Okay, thank you. Then Nathan, you got your hand up.
Yep, I would second Mary's motion.
Thank you. Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Solberg,
Yes.
Schlue,
Yes.
Erdman,
Yes.
Sommerfeld,
Yes.
Luther,
Yes.
Traxler,
Yes.
Sutherland,
Yes.
Sweeney,
Yes.
Schwebs,
Yes.
Merrill,
Yes.
Well, thank you. Okay. Okay, that brings us down to the mayor's report. Vote tomorrow. Don't forget to vote tomorrow. That's important. I know Lowell has me lined up for a number of meetings this next week or so. One is out in the industrial park for a large project that we will bring you back up to speed on when we know more information on that. Other than that, communications and miscellaneous business. Council, do you have any communications that you'd like to bring up? Okay, Mr. Idy?
Yes.
We put a couple things in your packet. One was a notice of non-compliance. We did have a sanitary leak back just north of Wakanda Park by the interstate. One of our force mains cracked in the early spring. The good news is your team reacted pretty quickly. We had the water guys and the street guys and the wastewater guys all working together to get that bypassed. We pumped all the way up the hill from down by the game park area all the way up onto Wilson to bypass that break and then dig it up and repair it. And the notification was done very promptly to the DNR. So that's in there. The other thing we put in your packet was the Arbor Day celebration set for Friday, April 30th, 2021 at 10 a.m. The Urban Forestry Board does that I'd say every year, but last year they didn't do it. So they're going to do it this year. We're doing it in front of the neighbors, or our house, I'm sorry, in front of our house right there at 17th and 9th, a memory care center. And the Urban Forestry Board is going to plant a tree in a bush. We're doing it very low key. But we're also going to recognize Dr. Jerry Johnson from the university. You can see the information in your packet there, but Dr. Jerry Johnson was instrumental in having his students provide all the benches you see around the city that came out of some of the ash trees that were taken down throughout the community. So we're going to recognize Dr. Johnson there and give him his due recognition.
Very good.
That's
Thank you,
all I have,
Mr.
Mr.
Idy.
Mayor. Yep.
Appreciate that. A couple other notes. The City of Menominee Solid Waste Site, did you see we have our second trash compactor down there, and that's working out very well. They are finding we're hauling half as often, twice as much, half as often, something like that. So we're packing them full before they haul them away. So it's going to save us a lot of money. They're also looking at some other options as far as additional items being taken out there. More to come on that. There's just a rough sketch of some of those items and dollar amounts in your pack tonight. That's nothing set in stone yet. It's an informational piece only. Also on the ATV, UTV route proposals, there's some individuals that would like to have more routes throughout the city. I'm thinking that we are looking at monitoring this a bit to see where the county and the townships fall. And then perhaps we would bring this back and tailor something through the city that kind of correlates or corresponds with the county and or the townships. So I think that's all I had to bring up to speed. Lowell, Mr. Prangy?
The next regular meeting is April 19th. And for those of you that are sticking around to serve another year or two, that I know, Jeff, that doesn't include you, I guess. So
No.
Way to go.
And,
Hey, Mayor.
Yes,
and
Eric.
Robin too, I guess. So
Eric, go ahead, please.
Well, let Lowell finish, and then I have my hand up. I'd just like to make a.
Okay, yeah, go ahead, Mr.
communication I'd
Prangy.
like to present.
So then on Tuesday, the 20th, we have to have our organizational meeting. And so typically we'll get together and go through and do the boards and commissions and council appointees, et cetera. So when do you want to meet? I think in the past we've done that at 6 o'clock. Typically it takes half hour or less, maybe, depending on what the council decides. But is that okay with the majority of the council out there?
That's our normal meeting night?
No, it's the next night. It's Tuesday night.
Oh, it's a Tuesday night. Okay, it's a Tuesday night after our regular night at 6
On
a.m.
the 19th regular, and then on the 20th, which is a Tuesday, we will meet again at a certain time the council can get together. And
6 o'clock seemed to work okay for that Tuesday night to everybody? Okay. Looks like a lot of nods going on. I think we'll schedule it. We'll send you a posting so that you'll know.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Is that it?
I
Mr. Brennan?
don't nodding.
Okay, Eric, you go ahead, Eric Sutherland.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to point out a few things that occurred. Some really positive things that maybe sometimes people forget. This fall, the Menominee Hoops Club just finished their basketball season, which lasted about 2 months. I mean, it was a little challenging with COVID and it got delayed, but we got through it, and it was myself and many other folks. And believe me, I play a small role, but those folks should be commended, and we should be reminded that a lot of the folks in the city volunteer their time and efforts to help these kids, and it's a great thing. And also, the baseball season is starting for these younger kids too, and a lot of the volunteers are doing that. And hopefully, last year there weren't very many games, and this year hopefully many more. There will be games starting soon, I think in a couple weeks, depending on the weather. So, if you need something to do, come and check out the kids at Wakanda or in local towns or towns in the area, Elkmount and different areas, Colfax. Come and see it. It's a great time, and these kids, they put on a pretty good show. So I just wanted to mention that, Ray. Thank you.
Well, that's great, Eric. Thank you. And you know what? I have to, as long as you brought that up, I want to remark on our baseball fields up at Wakanda or different fields. Our fields are in the best shape I think I've ever seen them. And even building field number 7, which you did a total review or revamp last year, looking good. And the smaller fields for the smaller kids, I think that's outstanding. So if you get a chance to drive up through Wakanda, check that all out. It's really amazing. And our holding pond that was put in along the Wakanda Road there, that's looking good, and the growth is starting to grow up through there. So just a lot of great things. And if you haven't went out in the industrial park either, go check some of the building sites and some of the things that are going on in the industrial park. Eric, I thank you for bringing that up. I think the youth baseball and the hoops and all the sporting events that keep kids occupied, get them out of the house, get some fresh air. I totally support that, and I know you do too, Eric. So thank you for your time spent doing that, donating. So anything else from council, administration? Rylan, go ahead, please.
Yeah, I guess I'd like to see the statement from Menominee Cares on the next agenda.
Okay, we can do that. Do we need to, we can just take that on, can't we, Lowell? I guess we're a little bit, we'll have to work through that to make sure we get the right wordage and so forth. A lot of what was brought up tonight, I think, is covered, but if we want to get specific to one area or another, then I guess then I would agree with you, Ryland. I know that we've got something in place that is intended to include all groups, but that doesn't mean that we couldn't take it on to be more specific. I think that's what I'm trying to say. Lowell, am I accurate in saying that? I think I am.
Correct. So I guess, Ryland, are you looking to duplicate the Eau Claire resolution?
Yeah, I read over theirs and I thought it seemed like, a good model to go after.
Okay, we can just do that. Do we need it? We don't need it.
If that's the direction the majority of the council wants to go, we'll put it on the agenda and
we can talk about it. Okay, thank you, Ryland. We will work that into the next meeting. Anything else from anybody? Okay, I think we can keep our meeting moving.
Mayor?
Oh, Mary, go ahead, please. Yes, go ahead.
I just wanted to comment on the sweepers for the city have done an incredible job. The streets look great. I'm when I'm driving around, and I do it every day in the bus, I'm just very proud of how well our streets are maintained. And so I just wanted to point that out, that the street department is working hard and it's noticed.
We'll pass that on. And the other thing that I would echo Mary on that is the people are so upbeat. I think the new facility has helped throughout the city. I've gotten comments and compliments on so many things. It used to be, I used to get so many complaints and so many Debbie Downers kind of thing. And I've just been inundated with people saying, good, 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 good. Congratulations, Public Works Department. Congratulations, Street Department. Congratulations to everybody, the Fire Department, Police Department. I think our city is something to be proud of. And I think you serving on city council is something to be proud of. I'm going to miss Jeff and I'm going to miss Robin. And I think that you both have served in the highest capacity for the city of Menominee. And it's people like you and all of you serving in that capacity that makes the city what it is. So when a department does good, it's a pat on everybody's back, including yourself. And I want to thank all of you for that. Okay, so that takes us down into claims. So if we'd like to pay the bills, we can make a motion to do so. Okay, Robin, go ahead, please.
I make a motion to pay the bills.
Okay, is there a second to Robin's motion? Mary, you got your hand up?
I would second Robin's motion.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Sluse,
Yes.
Erdman,
Yes.
Summerfeld,
Yes.
Luther,
Yes.
Traxler,
Yes.
Sutherland,
Yes.
Sweeney,
No.
Yes.
Schwebs,
Yes.
Merrill,
Yes.
Solberg,
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, I didn't see any licenses for this evening, so I don't think there is any. So that brings us down to the no closed session. Motion to adjourn would be the appropriate motion. Nate, you got your hand up?
I do. Yes. I would like to make a motion to adjourn.
Okay, is there a second to Nate's motion?
I'll second that.
Okay, Jeff Luther with a second. All in favor of said motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Opposed? Thank you, everybody. Have a safe and wonderful week. We'll see you next time.
Aye.
Thanks so
Thank
much.
you.
Have a good night.
Good night, everybody.